Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dan Cargan, and the Cargan's Cheat Sheet. Today's guest is the creator, the developer of the independent game, Violent Sirens. Here we have Alex Lynch. How are you doing, Alex?
Hi, I'm good. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing really good. So tell the folks a little bit about how the game works and everything, what your goals were for it.
So with the game, I wanted to create something that hasn't been done in wrestling sort of before. It's sort of like, the way I describe it lately is an action RPG that sort of disguises itself as a wrestling game. You'll still have all the features like one-on-one and stuff like that, like you can do in a normal wrestling game, but you'll be able to sort of build the characters your way so they play uniquely to your style.
Well, I like that idea. That's cool. So how did you who influenced you on this project, or did you just, say, you know what, I'm gonna create the video game that I wanted, and you just did it? Is that what happened?
Yeah, pretty much. I started with an idea for a mobile game in my head, but then I realized that my ideas were too big of a scope for that. And then once I got the idea to make it all-female wrestling, it sort of just all came together quickly in my head. And then I started development trying to basically recreate the feeling of the old PS2 games, and it sort of got too out of my vision, and I got bored making it. So I restarted and sort of built up all the action RPG concepts I wanted into it, and it's sort of very inspired by Assassin's Creed and Batman Arkham, but in a wrestling ring.
Oh, I got you. So you used the Unreal Engine 4 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then watched a bunch of YouTube videos, basically. Everything you ever need to know is just out there for you for free.
Yeah, that's the granted permission of YouTube right there. They give you everything you ever wanted in life. And what's the roster size on this, you said?
I'm looking to have about 20 to 30.
That's a decent amount.
It could be more, but that's my goal for now.
You gotta set goals and you gotta achieve them. I was watching the gameplay footage. Is there a damage meter and everything, just like the regular games would be, since you're trying to make this more of an RPG?
Yeah, they have health and everything. It's kind of like how 2K showed off with stun effects and stuff like that, knockdown effects. You'll recognize those from RPGs, and then how you play sort of basically is your strategy for how to take out your opponent and win while using your character's strengths.
Okay. So I got you now. And when did you start making this game?
About a year ago, but I did the restart about 6 to 8 months ago.
Yeah, so this game might not come out for maybe another 2 years.
I hope around mid to late 2023, honestly, but you never know, being a single developer and all that, and real life gets in the way a lot too.
There's a lot of single developers out right now, and it's going to be really hard to put your game out right now. So I think the mid 2023 is a good idea for you, honestly, because you're going to avoid this whole entire competition, and your game's going to be right there above everybody's because you're not in the mix of all this right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much every game is coming out this year, or the
exactly.
beginning of 23. But honestly, I've talked to a couple of the other developers too, and other than a release schedule, we don't really consider each other competition. We actually share code a lot and help each other, which is actually pretty surprising.
That's awesome.
Of course, there's a couple bad apples, but the good ones are really good.
Yeah, I feel like, the developer communities, you guys need to all form together, you know what I mean? You got to create a pack and stick together because you help him, he helps you, and, you only build up from there. You can't knock each other down these days. Got to build each other up. But I like that. So,
exactly.
So
there are some gaming companies out there who, if you'll make a product similar to yours, they'll do everything to bury it. But, with the wrestling developers, we're trying to, make everyone's game the best game.
Yeah, we just want to have fun, you know what I mean? We're not worried about competition. We want to have fun. So
the wrestling community just wants the best wrestling game, no matter who's it from or how it's made.
Speaking facts right there, Alex. You're speaking facts. So, I was, catching up more up on this gameplay. How are the entrances looking?
I haven't begun coding them yet, but I've been concepting how I'll do it. I don't think they'll be as long as 2Ks, like a 1-to-1 realistic broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll do a little bit of cuts, maybe like Shut Your Mouth, how there's a few camera cuts and the motion's a little quicker. But you'll still get the entrance experience. They won't be cut or anything.
Is the music going to be copyrighted, or is it going to be like free, like just like 8-bit?
I'm hoping with the crowdfunding I eventually do, I'll be able to hire a composer to make all the themes for the wrestlers. And if the wrestler has a very specific theme, but like they know how to handle all the copyright stuff, I'd hope to use their proper theme as well, because I hope to sign a few names.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Now, I know we're jumping ahead here, but you're not thinking of making a sequel after this, or are you?
Unfortunately, I am having a lot of type of like other game ideas that can spin off from this, which is kind of hard because it's like you have to focus on this one first.
Because what you're telling me is you're kind of getting a little like jumping off the gun here, because you were going to create the first one, and now you're jumping to the conclusion now already, and then you're creating this one. So I like your mindset. You're trying to get all around here. I see you. You're trying
I
to
jumble a lot in my head, and then I'm trying to focus on this one game, and it's hard when you like make one system and you're like, this would be even greater in this game too, or something like that.
Now
you just gotta put all those ideas down and save them for later.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say to you. I think you just cracked the system here. I think you just are a genius if you're gonna create a game here, and you can automatically formulate something in your brain to create one here. That's a hell of a skill right there. That's crazy. Wish my brain worked like that.
Like, probably once a week I have a new idea for a game, and I'm just like, is it even possible with how busy I am?
Oh, it's possible. It's possible.
Speaking of extra games, like, the goal I want to create with this is sort of like a video game universe where like there'll be spin-offs and stuff that stay in the same canon, but maybe not necessarily a sequel to that exact game.
Oh,
sort of like a wrestling video game universe with a connected story, if possible. Like 10 years down the road, I'll have like 4 titles out or something.
Oh shit, that's cool. Yeah, I like that idea. So the big question that probably like everybody's pondering about, what's it going to be on? What platform?
I hope all of them, honestly, even Switch. But right now, I can only say PC because that's what I'm developing for, and I know how to publish on Steam. I've looked it up. But like, definitely want to be on Xbox and PlayStation. Just got to look into how those work with Unreal Engine and getting test kits too, if possible. Stuff like that.
Is this the first game you ever created?
Technically, yeah. Well, and definitely the first one I'll be publishing. So I just have to save up from crowdfunding and real life income to get those publishing licenses, and then I will definitely look into getting it on all platforms I can.
And we're going to see lots of like violence and chaos in this game, correct? Like with weapons and everything?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So like, the main inspiration is like about a year ago, there was this little trend on women's wrestling Twitter where the wrestlers would post like a beauty shot of them and then one of them covered in blood. And that's sort of like the contrast I want to make with the game, where like it's these like beautiful, strong, empowered women, and then there's also super badass and not afraid to, get dirty in the ring.
Well, yeah. I kind of figured you were going with that approach when I was like, looking at the gameplay. And what weapons do you want to see in there? Like what's really going to stick out? Like what weapons? Because we're a big fan over here.
Well, I haven't made any yet. Still working on the core gameplay, but I love how in WCW and WO Revenge there are a bunch of different ones you can get from the crowd, like the stop sign. I really love. In Shut Your Mouth, I love the snowballs. I definitely want to add some unconventional stuff like that, like leg crutches.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a music fan myself, I think you should incorporate a guitar inside the game, too, to crack over the head. I think that would be crazy. But yeah, go on.
Basically, I just want to put like anything they can think of being used as a weapon, like in wrestling, that would realistically be there. I want it in.
Yeah.
But obviously, I can't make any promises. Not this early, anyway.
Well, I'm glad that you got the project, like, created and everything. I'm glad you're sticking with it, and I can't wait till it comes out. I'm really anticipating this game because now I'm getting hyped for it. You got me into it, so, and all the Karg and Cheat Sheet listeners are hyped for it too. That they're probably screaming around like, yo, this game's coming out and everything, blah blah blah. I know they're hyped.
I know it. It's just gonna take some time. That's all. Just timing, focus. I'm not rushing anything. If it takes me 4 weeks to learn how to make a chair shot, who cares? It'll get there.
It's all gonna get there. It's a process. You gotta trust it.
I'm pretty decent at art, so I don't think that's too much of an issue. It's just learning to code things that are pretty advanced. Because wrestling game's actually one of the most hardest games you can make with all the different variables going on of what you can do in the environment. Most games are pretty much you just do this, shoot that. So, yeah.
And what about the match stipulations?
I definitely want to have a bunch. I'm definitely thinking of having at least up to 6-man tag. I don't know about 8-man tag or 8-woman tag in this.
Yeah.
Just used to the 2K term. Yeah, but I'm going to have like table match. Well, I plan to. Like table match, ladder match, the essentials basically that involve weapons. And maybe some unique ones I might come up with to make it interesting. Cage match, of course. You can't have wrestling without that, in my opinion.
And I know it's crazy, but you said back to like the Here Comes the Pain days to Shut Your Mouth, the PS2 games. You're an all women's roster. Are you going to have bras and panties match? Since that was a big thing back then.
Well, see, if I can find a way to get it into the story without being then maybe, and maybe I might throw up a poll. Is it appropriate? Do you guys want it? And we'll see. But
yeah.
It's not like on the top of the priority list or anything.
No, I'm just curious because the mind's just when you're creating a game. I don't know how your mind thinks or how it goes, so you might be like, "Yo, this is a good idea."
I definitely had it in my mind at some point. Like I remember, thinking, do these people still want it? Is it too outdated?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Or is the nostalgia enough to put it in and not be problematic?
And like same goes with like hair versus hair matches, blah blah blah. We can go on, and maybe like I feel like the older games incorporate that because of the culture around it. I feel like the culture shifted, and we're going into like a new era where it's more about the high aerial assaults and like chaos, like GCW, like tables, ladders, fire. Just bring it, and that's what I feel like this game's going to be.
A little bit of the problem with Rumble Roses. It has, in my opinion, some of Yuke's best gameplay, but it's overshadowed by like the over-sexualization anime girl thing going on in the game. So like it kind of pulls it down a few points because there's not that much effort going into the wrestling part of it.
Yeah, it's just going into the appearance of the models. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Some of the best breast physics back then in that game. But they could have put those resources into more of the gameplay.
Oh my god. There's gonna be a bunch of females jumping off cliffs and fire and shit. That's probably what's gonna happen these days.
I would love to have tables figured out properly. And more like dynamically than 2K has it, where it's like a little cutscene. You can only do one thing.
Oh man, it's gonna be chaos this game. I'm excited.
That's the beauty of Unreal Engine. Like all of the heavy lifting is done by the engine itself. You don't need to go too much into like coding physics and stuff. You sort of just have to code how it behaves. So it's pretty beginner friendly in that part.
That's why you chose Unreal Engine, because it's more of like, it's not too advanced. It's more beginner.
Yeah, and the coding at least natively, it's visual. You use like nodes and connect them, so you almost never have to do like typing coding, and it really helps people with like